Hello and welcome to Cheerless Tuesday, where today we're doing conspiracy theories. First things first is the moon landing, and I think this is just the idea that we didn't go to the moon, and it's a psyop to make people believe that America beat Russia to get in the moon. I think this is complete false. Well, yeah, I'm gonna put it in false simply because they figured out that if it was false, they needed something like 500,000 people to cover it up. It just doesn't make sense, does it? Um, the 9/11 cover up. Well, I'm gonna put it impossible. I think if you're on about two different things, you're on about the Tower Seven. I think it's called the one where it just mysteriously fell without any debris landing on it. There's definitely something weird going on there. And then you got the whole thing about the U.S. government mistakenly lost $1 trillion the day before. That's very weird as well. I'm not too sold on the whole the U.S. government did it themselves angle, but yeah, I think some of the aspects of 9/11 was quite sus. I think some of the things are very possible, but the whole US government thing is a bit sus for me. Like it's lower down here, but I'll put the rest of it there. The Mandela effect, I think it's just a load of old crap. I think it's just a load of people just misremembering. Helen Keller was faking it. No. Paul McCartney is dead. That's the conspiracy theory that he died in a car crash in the 60s. That's just not true. Jay-Z and Beyonce, Blue Ivy Illuminati. I think this is sus. I'm not too sure about I'm not too sure about them two being in a Illuminati type higher realm of governance sort of thing, but I do think they have enough influence to essentially be in some sort of group like that. Like Hillary Clinton actually asked both of them to endorse her to become president, and you don't get that sort of offer if you didn't have an air of influence within certain communities. Deja vu, I think it's true. I think this is just the thing of something happening again that you've already seen. This definitely happens in everyday life. Um, Aliens slash Area 51. I think it's sus. I don't think it's completely true. I think aliens possibly exist. I think it'd be a statistical anomaly if we existed and aliens didn't. But do I believe that Area 51 is a containment area for aliens? Probably not. I think it's just a very high level uh era tech sort of area. I don't think there's like some sort of cover up for aliens there. It'd be really super to have like such public um feeling about an area and having aliens in the same place. Elders of Zion. I have no idea what this is, so I'm gonna just leave it here. I could look it up, but yeah, the video is starting there. Stonehenge sus. I think this is misinformation slash false. It is sus that how can how can limestone be travel from like Wales down to where the Stonehenge actually is, and why is it that it's an astronomical calendar and stuff like that? But you got to realize these people had hundreds of thousands of years to set these things up, and it isn't really. There's nothing really to it. Simulation theories. I mean, it's possible. I think it's definitely in there for misinformation. Um, there is there is an element of like predeterminism that's in the Bible. You have like the stuff that's in the Matrix, where it's all about a computer that's simulating the world and everything. But I don't really see it like that. I think reality isn't predetermined at all. Princess Diana, I think it's very possible that the royal family had murdered. It's possible. I, I don't fully think it's true, but I do think it's possible. Greta Thunberg is a time traveler. No, she wouldn't be that stupid. Jesus and Mary Magdalene, it's very sus. The idea that Jesus and Mary Magdalene were actually like in a relationship. It's definitely got some weight behind it. The whole idea that he might have had a family and stuff like that. Possible. It's possible. The Illuminati, I reckon it's possible, you know. They, I think that there's like a shadowy organization of people that have complete control of people. I just think that there's certain organizations that are out in the open that have a nefarious idea what the planet should be, and I think that's probably the closest to the Illuminati that you can get to Venezuela. Um, Ghosts, nah. QAnon, I think it's misinformation. QAnon, to be honest with you, I don't think it's necessarily false. I just think the whole QAnon thing, they have maybe a hit, like they have like the Epstein Island stuff, where it's an obvious like it's an obvious hit of what them into. But I think they attach too much stuff into the whole movement for it to be completely true. I think it's a lot of false positives and a lot of they have a lot of things into their movement that's a lot that's quite true, but then they go after people that just aren't connected to anything like that, and I think it's weird. Loch Ness Monster falls. I think it's just a probably a bad picture or something else. I don't think there's a monster there. Atlantis. There is theories about it being in Northern Africa, but reptilian overlords. I mean, it's kind of true in that a lot of our overlords in terms of government are reptilian like, but in terms of like alien, reptilian, interdimensional space lizards that take control of everything like the world's end or something, nah. 27 Club, I think it's just false. It's a statistical anomaly that musicians just die at the age of 27. Denver Airport, I looked it up and I don't really think it's true. I think it's just a load of bullshit, to be honest with you. There isn't that much in it, really. Vaccines have microchips, I think it's misinformation. I think I reckon this was possibly put out as like a front to make it sound like, make it so it colours the water a bit. Because for or against the vaccines, if you was against taking the vaccines with COVID, like you would lumped in with the same crowd as the people who were thinking they have microchips. So I think it's just bloody in the water for like the four crowd. I had mine. You probably had yours, but I definitely think that was like a psyop to encourage people to have the vaccines, because if you didn't, you were seen as a loony. JFK, I think it's pretty much true that he wasn't assassinated by just Lee Harvey Oswald. There definitely was exterior groups that went and killed him with him. Crop circles, just false. They've seen people do them. 5G, I reckon that's misinfo again. I think a lot of conspiracy theories are made by groups that I'm just trying to colour people as stupid. Bigfoot just untrue. Marilyn Monroe was killed. I can take a bit of that. I can take that. It's possible she had relations with the president. I can see a mysterious death can sort of I can see chemtrails. It is a bit sus. I have read up a bit about chemtrails, and I don't particularly think that they're 100% true, but I have seen like cloud seeding and stuff like that, and it makes you question if chemtrails are true. But yeah, I'm not fully like, f- I'm not fully for it. I don't think it's true at all. But like the cloud seeding stuff is quite interesting to get into. Paul McCartney is alive. Of course, he's a bloke. COVID was planned. I reckon this is possible, because I saw something in the middle of COVID where it was like one of the pharmaceutical companies actually had a patent out for a SARS-CoV vaccine in like 2015 or 17, I think it was. And that's a bit sus. I know it's like SARS-CoV is actually just a normal cold. It's considered a rhinovirus, which is just a common cold. So I reckon that it definitely was planned in terms of like planning against something like it. And you got the whole was it made in the lab stuff. You got that as well. But yeah, I reckon it is possible that COVID was planned. Tupac is alive? No. Unfortunately, not. Industry plans are real. I think that's 100% correct. In the music industry anyway, there's so many aspects of there's like a group or a musician that's just too hot to handle and too hot to control. So the industry shits out a group that's identical to them to try to ape off their success whilst like having something that they can control in its entirety. I think the best example of this is like the Monkees from the 60s. You had in the mid 60s you had the Beatles, hit after hit after hit, millions of records sold, and then the US music industry, like the Beatles outgrew them, and that they did the whole "we're bigger than Jesus" angle, and it sort of went against them. So they wanted a group as big as the Beatles that had hit after hit, but they didn't want the baggage associated with it. They didn't want to have a group where they could do their own stuff and call the shots like the Beatles did with Apple, and they just made the Monkees, and to be fair, they made a few good songs. They got to #1 in America and over here, quite nice songs and everything. But to tell me that they ain't a manufactured band to try to ape off the early success of the Beatles is just saying that a true thing is just not true. They are, or I feel like they were an industry plant. Mermaids under the sea bed, not real. Birds aren't real, is not real. I think the last one is my most controversial one, and I'm gonna put global warming is fake at the top. Although I think that climate change is obviously true, I think that climate change and its prevalence is a lot to do with the West trying to get away from Saudi Arabian oil and Russian oil. If the West can get away from Arabian oil, they could cut out their influence in the geopolitics. So the easiest way to do that is wean ourselves off the oil and go more towards renewable resources. So the easiest way to psyop everybody into believing that oil is a bad thing is to say that it's killing the planet off. So you make this public consciousness that foreign resources are a bad thing, and you swap it with renewables, you swap it with electricity instead of oil based cars and stuff like that, and you've got the beginnings of a thing like a conspiracy theory. But yeah, there's my conspiracy theory one. I'm probably incorrect about majority of these, so there you have it. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like, please subscribe, and goodbye.